My grandmother had a hairnet like this, the secret weapon of northern womanhood. They could put one of these on and their carriage could change in an instant. From the front, it looks as though they were trying to catch bloaters. From the back, it looked as though they had. These women, though, were all of the type, tough, hard battle axes, who had fought their way through 2 world wars and a depression, bringing up children and tending to their menfolk in often desperate times. One such woman came to stand as the epitome of all the others. And from the first time we saw her, with that high-button coat, sharp tongue with a blunt manner, it was apparent that here was a woman who could turn a milk stout sour with a glance. Let me show you.
Well, where is it?
I was just going to get it, Ena.
By gum, some people take plenty of time. What's the matter? Is your money stuck to your purse or something?
Oh, all right, I'll get it.
Oh, no, you won't. We'll have it done proper. According to my piece of paper, it's your turn.
Oh, it always seems to be me.
Are you insinuating that I don't keep proper records? Look, I'd have you know, if it wasn't for this bit of paper, there wouldn't be a bit of my pension left by Friday morning with you two.
Oh, well, if it's on paper.
And mine's a milk stout.
Now you've offended her.
Well, right's right, isn't it? And there's no use denying that if you try till Judgment Day.
No, but you don't mean to be so sharp with everyone all the time.
I speak my mind without fear or favour.
Aye, so I've noticed.
What does that mean, might I ask?
Well, you don't let up on anyone, do you now, Ena?
Now, look, if I speak sharp about some people at Street, it's no more than they deserve.
I can't believe I'm here, in the original snug of the Rovers' return. Feels very familiar, although something's not quite right. All far too colourful and shiny. That's more like I remember it was. The snug. You don't get snugs anymore. It's where the genteel sought refuge from all the riffraff through in the public bar. The haven for the smug, really. And in the evenings, it was usually where Ena Sharples was to be found. Right here, with her companions, Minnie and Martha. The 3 of them were widows, with time on their hands, and an interest in the world that rarely stretched beyond the corners of Rosamond Street. Night after night, they would sit round this table, gossiping and passing judgment on the other residents of the street.
Oh, that Elsie Tanner, she was just the same during the war. Skirts up to here. And have you got any gum, chum?
There's no harm in chewing gum.
Never said there was, but there were other things.
Don't tell me, I don't want to hear.
I wouldn't soil my lips, but I'll tell you one thing. She bought clothing coupons off me, and she never got the money from that for what she earned out of munitions, and don't you tell me she did.
Aye, there were some as went short of nothing.
You know, one night when the raids was on, she'd come tottering into the shelter with a yank on one arm and an air raid warden on the other. And do you know what they did?
Oh, don't tell me if it's anything like that.
At 2 o'clock in the morning, they started singing community songs. I'll soon put a stop to that. Yes, Elsie Tanner, I said, you'll be rolling out the barrel down there if one of them bombs has got your name on it. All I can say is, thank God the Germans never got here. I should hate to see one of my neighbours collaborate. And she would have done, make you no mistake about that. What you having, say him again, please.
Well, that takes me back. In the street in Collis, where I was brought up, I always remember my grandmother talking about one of the neighbours. Oh, she did, I don't trust her. During the war, she had more soldiers than Eisenhower. You couldn't get the bedroom for gum wrappers. Ena's contempt for Elsie Tanner's flirtations was only the tip of the iceberg, where these two were concerned. Ena hated Elsie's disregard for good old-fashioned values, and they clashed many times. Underneath it all, though, was a grudging respect, though neither would ever concede the fight.
I was about to say, it doesn't matter where you get married, it's who you marry that counts.
Oh, well, you ought to know with all your experience.
Look, Ena Sharples, if you're looking for trouble, then you've come to the right shop.
You very touchy this morning, aren't you?
Don't come the innocent with me, I know you have. Oh, look, my private affairs are my concern and nobody else's. And two can play at that game. I might say something about you in a minute.
Let them that is without sin cast the first stone.
Well, you won't be throwing any then, will you? Dear, there's my shop bell.
Are you here after a divorce?
I thought you would.
Oh, well, this is I always says, if you can't hold on to them
yes,
proper...
that's right, I've heard it. You know, some poor souls have to kick the bucket before they can get rid of their wives.
Were you referring to me, by any chance? Because if you were, let me tell you...
Well, it's in my front door. I'm busy.
Come on.
Oh, these grimy alleyways. Reminds me of where I used to live. It was a tough area. In fact, it was so tough I got mugged one night by a nun. But seriously, though, good heavens, in the old days, that'd have been lunch. Seriously, though, you had to be tough to survive in this part of the world. It was here that Ena was made a fighter by all her years of grind and toil in the dark, satanic mills of Lancashire. It's where she learned to hide her feelings, to put on a cold face to the world. And it was a face that she very rarely took off.
You know, it's a funny thing. You'd think when you got to my age, with all its trials and tribulations, you'd be fit to face anything. And yet last night, when I was packing my bits and bobs, I suddenly remembered something I hadn't touched on for years.
What was that, Mrs. Sharples?
Well, the day the man first took me to the mill as a little lass. Cold, foggy morning it was, just after Christmas. I'd have half a barm cake and dripping for my breakfast. And off we went. And you know what? It was still sticking in my throat when we got there. She just took me in and left me. And I stood there. And I've never felt as lonely in all my life as I did then. The tears were pouring down my cheeks, though I knew it had got to be gone through. And it all come back last night. We never stop growing up, do we?
The past was important to Ena. She thought the young ones all had it easy. But while she took every chance to remind the youngsters how things used to be, she knew that the bad old days weren't always all that bad.
30 years ago. Well, it wasn't like it is today, I can tell you that.
What were it like then?
Well, there used to be a Black Maria outside the Rovers' return every Saturday night for a start. And the coppers used to walk 2 at a time down this here street. Any walker wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes.
And everyone was starving hungry all the time.
Not if you'd got the gumption to roll your sleeves and go picking cinders on the railway sidings. Mind you, we had as good times at all. I once won a black bottom contest down at the Cop Hall. You didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't.
And we used to get round the piano and have a sing-song.
Oh, you?
Why, what's wrong with me?
Oh, no.
Well, shut up and listen then. Ours is a nice house, ours is. That was Mrs. Longhurst's favourite. And then on a Saturday night when Mr. Sharples was down having his front teeth knocked out at the Black Shirts meeting, we used to go to the Luxie. You know, it was the Bijo in them days to see Nelson Eddy back on. They had some good pictures in them days. You won't remember Janet Gaynor, will you?
No, I don't think so.
No, her and Charles Farrell. Don't make them like that anymore.
They were horrible times, though. Everyone was always miserable all the time.
And then on a Sunday, we used to catch Strum up to Clough to see peacocks.
Peacocks round here?
Well, you see, Mrs. Cole was embroidering one on the fire screen and we went up to copy him.
Nobody had any backsides in the breeches.
Mr. Sharples had some oxblood boots with bulldog toes and I had a brick-coloured coat and a knitted hat with pom-poms on. They used to call us Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers.
Hey, I don't get this. Mr. Tatlock said it was dead horrible.
To the pure in mind, my lass, all things are beautiful, and that sets Albert Tatlock off for a start.